What if the first permanent European settlement in North America wasn't British, Spanish, or French, but Viking? What if, centuries before Columbus, a Norse colony had survived on the wild shores of Newfoundland and grown into something far greater than a temporary outpost? Because it almost happened. We start in the year 1000. Leif Erikson of Eric the Red and a born explorer sets sail from Greenland. He lands somewhere on the northeastern coast of North America. The Vikings call it Vinland. Leif Erikson lands somewhere on the northeastern coast of North America. The Vikings call it Vinland. Rich forests, salmon-filled rivers, grapes growing wild. This isn't a myth. Archaeologists confirmed a Viking settlement at Lanso Meadows in Newfoundland. But it didn't last. Within a few short years, the Norse pulled back to Greenland, and Vinland was abandoned. But what if things had gone differently? What if Leif's people had stayed? Imagine it not a temporary outpost, but a real settlement. Homes, children, trade with local tribes. The Norse knew how to survive. They built Iceland, lived on the edge of Greenland, and here, the climate was kinder, the land more fertile. With a good harvest and new settlers from Europe, Vinland could have survived. Imagine this. Instead of a temporary outpost, the Vikings dig in. They build longhouses, raise families, trade with local indigenous tribes, likely the ancestors of the Mi'kmaq or Beothuk. They adapt. The Norse were nothing if not survivors. In Vinland, they find something rare, a land warmer, richer, and full of potential. Each year, more of them arrive, families escaping the cold and the growing reach of Christian kingdoms. And instead of collapsing, Vinland flourishes. Fast forward to the 12th or 13th century. By now, Norse Vinland is no longer a fragile outpost. It's a chain of coastal towns. Mixed communities of Norse and native peoples share technology and knowledge. Writing arrives in the Americas early. Norse runes are carved into wood and stone. Tribal alliances emerge that combine Norse governance with native clan structures. It's not always peaceful, but it's negotiated. A hybrid civilization is born. Imagine Spanish ships sailing up the eastern seaboard thinking it's an unknown world, only to find stone-built towns flying dragon-head banners. Longships patrol the coastline. The Vikings got there first, and they never left. Now think geopolitics. With Vinland established, Norse culture survives Christianization in a different form: pagan, independent, maritime. It becomes a magnet for dissidents, adventurers, outcasts. Europe is no longer the sole engine of global expansion. There's no easy conquest of the Americas. Disease still spreads, but more slowly, and technology has already arrived. By the 15th century, a new civilization appears on the map, and it's not European. You wouldn't be saying New York. You might be saying Ny Tyrheim, new home of Tyr, the Norse god of justice. But here's the haunting part. This world wasn't just a fantasy. It was possible, almost real. The Vikings reached America 5 centuries before Columbus. They were already here, but instead of a great civilization, only silence remained. The forest closed over their tracks, and all they needed was one more ship, one more family, one more warless summer. If even one of those things had gone differently, we'd be living in a different world. You never heard this in school, but it was a chance to rewrite what it even means to be American. A world where America was discovered not for gold, but for home. Where there were runes instead of crosses, exchange instead of slavery, alliance instead of conquest. Today, we rarely remember Leif Erikson. A name, a statue, a forgotten date. But in that moment, when the bow of his longboat kissed the American shore, he opened the door to another world. We stood at the threshold of another future, and we turned back. We glimpsed a future that never came to pass, and we looked away. But history could have been rewritten. And this was one of those moments. History isn't just what was, it's what could have been.